Fifth Avenue. It's 100 yards away.
We're in the era of radio.
Bruh. Bruh. You decided the microphone sounds good? Oh yeah, I need to add a channel point reward for Funny Mike.
Radio is everything. News, music, entertainment. It is the medium of the times, and it carries the message. It's at the 25th island of Greece. That sentence probably made no sense to you because it is out of context.
Okay.
You heard it in the middle of a video. It's a conversation that was taking place way before you even clicked on this thing, but let's take that same concept and carry it over to radio.
Okay.
Where the radio waves are
Who uses radios
on,
anymore? Shake my head.
Vibration from station
Boomers.
to speaker to
Ah,
ear to
fucking
brain.
boomers.
The Mercury.
Mercury Theater on the air.
The Mercury Theater was at the time
Imagine
world
being a
famous.
boomer, chat. Couldn't be me.
They take 14 weeks and adapt their otherwise theatrical performances into the audio-only radio.
Sus. Okay. By the way, chat, I will refund to everyone on Sus today who used it. Don't worry. You will get refunded because it didn't work today. I'm sorry.
Format. The main producer of the radio show is an up-and-coming young man by the name of Orson Welles. In the next few decades, he'll be responsible for some huge films.
I will do
but
Face and Deck
that's not
too.
where we're
Don't
going
worry.
just now.
I will refund a
So
lot.
far, everything that the Mercury Theater on air has broadcast has captured the imagination of those who lend their ears.
Sometime later, a paper was found among Lucy Westenra's belongings.
Imagine going back to that era and showing someone like a fucking like iWatch.
Bruh.
Imagine going back there and like literally imploding their minds. What would they do? What would they do? Show them Spotify. What would they do? Would they just like collapse? Like their brains would just implode?
Their recent performance of Dracula drove
Call you a
fear
witch?
into listeners as the brutal sound of a stake being stabbed through the heart of the dark vampire reverberates.
Give them to me! Jonathan, give them to me! They're sick of putting them.
A sound effect recorded
It's
by
so
Welles.
funny because back then it was probably terrifying, but that is kind of funny. This.
Jonathan, give them to me! They're sick of putting them.
A sound effect recorded by Welles himself. Watermelon. Hammer.
Media Broadcasting System and affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the
Dude, that's
Mercury
still
Theater
scary.
on the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G.
No.
Wells.
The new show is starting now.
I
heard from one of the
decide what's
columns that's
scary
based
and what
on a
isn't.
book that's been adapted from Britain. Let's listen in.
Not much change in temperature. A slight atmospheric disturbance of undetermined origin is reported over Nova Scotia, causing a low-pressure area to move down rather rapidly over the northeastern states.
Here is where the medium, that simple medium of airwaves to brainwaves, is bent. Since it's just one medium,
Okay.
one format, that real-world news and fantasy world entertainment
Martians?
are essentially leveled, this young producer has the bright idea to blend fact and fiction.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the Meridian Room in the Park Plaza Hotel in New York City, we bring you the music of Raymond Raquello and his orchestra.
Dude, that is weird to think about. Like back then, no one had other means of knowing what's happening in the world. You know what I mean? It's like people who only watch Fox News now, but everyone back then. You know what I mean? Like they only hear what like is the filtered and centered thing that the, you know, world wants you to hear. Fox Who's? You know what's scary, chat? Thinking about Nosferatu? Like, when I was younger, I was, you know, you're like scared of monsters under the bed and shit. Now the only thing I'm scared of is fucking people, dude. You know, Scooby-Doo taught us that the real monsters are human. And I even bought like fancy locks for my house, like cameras and shit. Because I'm paranoid as fuck now. You know, I'm paranoid as shit. Like, we watch all these videos of, like, shit that people do. And I'm like, bruh, like, I don't want someone coming into my house and stabbing me. That would suck. You know, that would suck. Not poggers.
The show is intercut with seemingly real-sounding radio reports that start off fantastical.
I'm scared of nuclear warfare. Same, dude. Everybody should be.
Dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News. At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent
Big
gas
ass Bowie
occurring
knife
at
just in case
regular
some
intervals
maniac
on the
breaks
planet
in.
Mars.
Then grow more plausible.
Dude, I want to buy a
Mysterious
katana
object found in a farmer's
so I could cut bullets in half if they try to kill me
field.
with a
What
gun.
would you say, Professor Pearson?
What's that?
What would you say, what's the diameter of this?
About 30 yards.
About 30 yards. The metal on the sheath is, well, I've never seen anything like it. The color is sort of yellowish white.
Then the stakes are raised.
Ladies and gentlemen, am I on? Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back of a stone wall that adjoins Mr. Wilmer's garden. From here, I get a sweep of the whole scene. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk and as long as I can see. More state police have arrived. They're drawing up a cordon in front of the pit. About 30 of them.
It's the 25th island of Greece all over again because people are tuning in at random times, hearing what should be entertainment radio hour, but instead hearing...
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been handed a message that came in from Grover's Mill by telephone. Just one moment, please.
War?
At least 40 people, including 6 state troopers, lie dead in a field east of the village of Grover's Mill.
The
futile
fuck?
attempts by the military to subdue a looming threat.
This is Bolt reporting to Commander Fairfax, Langham Field.
Is this a troll?
This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field.
Hopelessness.
This is Bayonne, New Jersey, calling Langham Field. Come in, please.
The end
they-
of the world.
Do they do a little bit of
Here,
trolling?
we to warn the people to evacuate the city as Martians approach.
Here, a reporter on the rooftop is saying the war machines are throwing poisonous gas.
100 yards away. It's 50 feet.
Then, a commercial break.
That fucking fart. Right when...
But this break comes way later than usual because it just so happens that the War of the World broadcast is unsponsored. Meaning they can choose when they want to schedule their breaks. And so rather than scheduling the show around the breaks, they decide to push the break back. Give the viewer a better listening experience, right? But when usually a commercial would appear a few minutes in, this one occurs 50 minutes after, resulting in a perfect recipe for... After the break, the show continues in the standard radio play format. There's sound effects.
Do a War of the
actors.
Worlds review? No.
Under the dawn of that last
Then the story ends.
great day.
I was taught about this broadcast in school.
But this was
I've never heard
only
about this.
the beginning. See, during the show, a supervisor at CBS received a telegram ordering that the show be interrupted and its fictional facade be clarified. But by now, it's too late because there's a crowd of policemen outside storming the studio. And a struggle is ensuing between the page boys, the broadcasters, and the suits, attempting to prevent the cops from shutting down the whole thing. All the while, the phones are ringing off the hook. In a quote from one of the studio employees, "The following hours were a nightmare." Meanwhile, in the town of Concrete, Washington,
Monka
total
Giga.
chaos. See, while the broadcast was happening, an ill-timed electrical grid shut down, causing a seemingly fourth wall break between the climax of fear caused by fictional radio waves and now
Monka
this very
Giga.
real-world event happening. So hundreds of people are rushing to stores for supplies, clamoring in the streets, mass panic until...
If you think this is an exaggeration, it's only a little while ago that I again ran into some workers, some welfare workers, Quakers and Red Cross people who had been up in the Black Hills of Dakota some 5 or 6 weeks after this broadcast, persuading
This
the
makes me
people
think of
to
the
leave
nuke warning in
mountains and
Hawaii.
go back
Yeah.
home because the Martians really hadn't come.
And so did you at all suspect that people would believe it?
In fact, we weren't as innocent as we meant to be when we did the Martian broadcast. We were fed up with the way in which everything that came over.
Because, I mean, really, at the end of the day, back then, you're believing everything that comes out of the radio no matter what happens. You know, like, there's no way you're not going to believe something that comes out of the radio.
Over this new magic box, the radio was being swallowed. People, you know, do suspect what they read in the
original
newspapers and what
troll?
people tell them, but when the radio came, and I suppose now television, anything that
the original
came
troll?
through that new machine was believed.
This, to me, is an interesting peek into our history because it directly played into the fears of a populace already on edge.
World War II.
And the Munich crisis was at its height. People were tuning in day and night to hear reports from boots on the ground.
Why are there some random videos of cats? Bro, I don't know.
Threat by threat. Type of radio wave so massively captured by the media.
It's funny because, like, I think this is another reason why old people don't like expanding their, I guess, I wouldn't say entertainment, but I guess source of information. They don't really expand it. Like, there's some old people who still only read newspapers. Imagine, like, that's your only source of news, is newspapers.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.